What's going on, car guys and car gals? This is Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
Fred Lenart's subprime hero.
And the one, the only,
Owen Moon. That's right.
What's going on, Owen?
What's up, guys?
Oh,
man, it is November. I am fired up.
Dude, no doubt. What a year this has been.
Yes.
It has flown by, but man, they always say when you're having a good time, time flies, right? And I tell you, I've been having a great time this year for so many reasons. One, we've teamed up with you, started this show. It's been a lot of fun doing these shows every other week, and then doing these new flashbacks that we've been doing. So I want to just remind people, next Friday we're going to have a flashback, so stay tuned for that and be ready for that. We're repeating shows, some great shows that we've done in the past with some great guests, and you get to get some great knowledge. And we have a great guest for you today. Yeah. I know you're excited, Owen. I'm pumped up about it. Lou, I know we've been talking about it all week. Cannot wait.
Jazzed up and excited about it.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I know that this is big for Owen, and this is something that we want to make sure that you car guys and car gals are getting involved in right here, because having these Fixed Ops Fridays gives you something fresh, that grit brew, that stuff that really gets you going on a whole other thought pattern, especially with the guests that we get in here. That's why you got to get back with those flashbacks, everybody. Go check those out. But right now, tag a car guy and tag a car gal and get some car guys and car gals in here.
That's right.
Because Owen Moon is pumped up about who's coming inside of this cafe. Owen, why did you make this pick? Tell these car guys and car gals, please.
Well, so this gentleman that's coming on is, he's a busy guy. So he's tough to kind of track down, but I finally got him committed to coming on today. He has been a pioneer in the industry. He's been in the industry for a long time. He runs a publication that is, I would call the premier, fixed operations publication in the market. And, for a industry that's all about digital and things like that, you still got to have that premier, in your hand magazine that you can, put on your desk and read it when you got a few minutes and that type of thing. And so, that's what I've always turned to with this publication, whenever it shows up. And, it's not something that just anybody, and today, I kind of make jokes sometimes. I say, if you have a URL and a microphone, you can throw together a podcast, or you can throw together a Facebook Live, but it takes a lot of work to really put together a premier publication. And this guy has been, he hasn't owned it very long. I know it's been a few years, I think, since he took over as the lead publisher of this magazine. But he's done a fine job with it. So I'm excited to kind of pick his brain. I got some questions for him. And with all further ado, should I bring him on?
Do it. Bring him on.
Right, cool. We got Ron Overs from Fixed Ops Magazine, the owner and publisher. Come on in, Ron.
Let's go. Welcome to the party, Ron.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, man? So glad to have you on the show. We're excited to ask some questions, get to know you a little bit more. Man, Fixed Ops Magazine, what a great publication for so many reasons, and what a great show to be on and have the actual publisher of that magazine here. Ron, thank you so much. Congratulations on all your accomplishments and your future accomplishments that are coming soon. How are you doing today?
Welcome to the show.
Hey, we're doing great. We're just finishing up our last issue of our 19th year. So January, February is going to be year 20 for Fixed Ops Magazine. And so it's pretty exciting when you think about how long we've been doing this as a company. And I've been publisher for 3.5 years, and it's been an exciting time for sure.
Well, we need to make sure that we do get some car guys and car gals cheering that on. Cheers to that. That definitely deserves an applause. And yes, go get them, because really that's somebody that's stepping out on their passions and not letting it just affect their business, but it's pouring out to very many. And if you have that sort of a legacy, that amount of time sowing into that many people, it's immeasurable, the amount of value that you have vested into this industry. And for that, we honor you and so thankful that we get the chance to brew with you. Welcome, Ron, because man, there's a lot of people out there that dream the stuff that you've been doing. And we love to be able to just sit here and have some time with you. Welcome to the party.
Thank you. One of our secret sauces is really just, finding guys to stick on the cover of the magazine, right?
Movie stars on that cover.
Oh, look at that. Thank you.
These are the pictures. I mean, you got to have some eye candy. And, we just went out, we looked for it, we find it. Okay.
Instead, you got me that issue.
And next thing you know, they just come in droves and want to see what's inside the magazine. So it's pretty cool stuff.
It is great
yeah.
stuff.
That's the secret.
But you know,
to
I tell you,
everything.
you draw in the magazine by the cover, but when you get inside of it and you start to read it, you start to get educated and you start to figure out that this thing, not only does it tell me what's going on now, but it also gives you a great forecast of the future, you know, and that's something I know that you guys take a lot of pride in, is forecasting the future and how things are going. 19 years of publication, that's huge. I mean, in any aspect, whether you've been in this industry that long, whether you've been married that long, but having a publication in today's world that's so unique when it comes to media, to be able to still run a great publication and be able to bring knowledge the way that you've been doing it, that's the reason why, is that you guys are always on the edge of that. So congratulations to that. I'm excited to see what comes up for 2023. I'm sure you got some great ideas about that. Oh, and let's what do you think about that?
Yeah, you know, Ron, I had, you know, one of the things I was thinking about as we were kind of talking about this is that, you know, obviously you running this publication, you know, you get a lot, I'm sure you get a lot of people that are, you know, calling you up, asking you to, hey, can I get involved in the magazine? You know, what does it take? That type of thing. What do you look for? You know, just a question I've had is, again, what do you kind of look for from, you know, for your content? Because obviously, you know, you probably, you know, want to make sure that you've got good vendors or good businesses that are being involved, because, you know, being a publication like you have, you know, you want to make sure that you're getting the right information out there to consumers. What are you looking for when you are, you know, maybe interviewing a company, or, you know, just kind of looking to set your publication up?
You know, you're right. We get a lot of people who say, can I write an article for your magazine? Or can I, you know, we'd like to be part of your magazine and get in there. And, you know, we probably get 20 to 30 articles, and we publish 10 in every issue. So the nice part is we can go through those and say which ones are real and which ones are not. And we, between our editors, myself, and some trusted people I have that actually read the articles besides ourselves, we check the, you know, to make sure they're valid, make sure the information is real, that it's timely, and that it makes, you know, good sense for our readers, that it's actually going to move them ahead in with their business. Just fast facts. You know, there's 16,652 franchise dealers in the United States. Wow. So we talk to a lot of vendors that say, you know, hey, we've got 500 or we have 1,000 dealers using our program. And that is impressive. But there's 16,652 of them. Okay. So you have headroom. There's always room to grow your business, right? So we always are telling them, come on, find something that reaches the masses, that reaches everyone. And you find something like Owen has. You find something that every single dealer needs, right? They need to do a better job of marketing their dealership, not only to their customers but to their area, and make it grow. So our secret sauce really started off by saying, we're not brilliant, but there's brilliant people out there, like Owen, like Ted Ings, like there's a whole bunch of them out there. And what we try to do is we try to say, we ask them to write the best article that they can, something that their core competency really makes them something special, and then publish those articles so that what you're getting is great content from superior people. And it's been great. It's been a lot of fun doing this.
Wow. That's I mean, it sounds like it's been incredible. Obviously, those of you that are watching and know what's going down have been consuming this and enjoying it, because it's keeping it part of the culture. But that's awesome. I mean, basically, that's all that we're doing right here on this show, right? We're collecting the best of the best that we can find, and just having the conversation with the people that know some good stuff, have done some good stuff, and have something good to give. And that's what's awesome about what you're doing. You're constantly giving. Man, what is it like working with as many people as you have and seeing as many people submissions, so many articles? I mean, you get to review a lot that most of us don't even get the chance to see, but there's something that gets poured into all of that. What is it like sifting that?
You know, what's real exciting is to realize how brilliant some of these minds are, right? So they come up with stories. Now, let's just not say that they're 400 level English majors. Okay. So we do a lot of work. We've got some great editors to make sure that their content comes across really, really well.
I figured that when you mentioned Owen might be in the magazine writing, I was like, hey, hold on.
Hey now.
But their thoughts are amazing. And you know, the great thing is, between my editors and their great content, we can put together a story that's really fantastic. And that really that's the secret sauce to making this all come together, is to really get them to really express what they're thinking. And don't worry about the words. We'll make the words right, but get your thoughts on paper that make sense. And when you think about it for a minute, we do these kind of shows and we all think about what we're going to do before we get on the show. But if you're going to write an article, 1,000 words or less, and make it, your name's going on the bottom of this, and it's going to go out to, 38,000 subscribers, 16,652 dealers, you want it right. Okay. You don't want something that's, half baked. You want it to be the real thing.
That's
So
right.
and I was going to say that whenever I've gotten asked by Ron to put an article in, and sometimes I'll call him and say, hey, I got an idea for an article. Other times he'll say, hey, you got an article you want to put in this one. I don't do one everyone, but it's a big deal for me. I spend more time getting those articles put together for Fixed Ops Magazine than I do for a normal blog or something like that. And I'll tell you, there's been a lot of times, and Ron doesn't know this, but I'll start working on this thing at like Friday about 5 o'clock. I'll pour myself a nice glass of bourbon. I'll hang out all night. I'll start my outline. I get pretty far. I go to bed for a few hours. I get up Saturday morning. I'll start working on it again. I mean, I put the whole weekend in writing this article. And then, of course, I turn it to my partners and I say, hey, this is what I'm thinking for the article. This is kind of where I'm at. What do you guys think? And then, of course, they'll throw me a couple ideas like, hey, put that in here. What about adding this to this little section? I'll go back and do another revision. And by the time I get done and get this over to Ron, I probably got 20 hours into this article and maybe, maybe 15 hours, but it's because I take a lot of pride in if I'm going to put an article that's going to be on a printed publication, that's going to go out to that many people. I want it to be something that's timely, that it's, that people understand it and that it's accurate. And those are the three things I really look for when I'm writing those kind of articles. So, I enjoy doing it, but it is a little added pressure knowing that it's going into a publication like Fixed Ops Magazine. So,
well, that's what makes something precious out of it, right? That's what makes something good. Pressing it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It really does. You think about that a minute. When you put something in print, okay, you're confirming your intellect. Okay, good, bad, or indifferent, you're confirming who you are. So it really, at the end of the day, you got to decide, who do I want to be? Who do I want people to think I'm going to be? Well, then put the energy into it. Make it great.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Absolutely. Advice. And that's all great advice for all you all even thinking about maybe sending something over to the company. I mean, I'm telling you, Fixed Ops Magazine, I guarantee they're open to some great ideas, but you better write something good and bring some great information. Most importantly, like you said, there's editors, but if you have the right information that makes sense for people and it brings value, it's important. I think there's no doubt Owen, I've known Owen for a couple years now pretty well. And there's no doubt he brings a lot of know-how because of his experience. And then with the dealings, with over 700 dealers out there, hearing all the different things going on at all the different dealerships, he definitely has his pulse on what's happening in automotive. So to be able to have somebody like Owen come on and be able to write something that's value to you, and that's why I love what you said. It's not about how smart you are. It's about who you can get in that are smarter than you, that you can actually have their information to share with the world. And having people like that, I'm sure, like you said, Ted Ings, another phenomenal guy, with the roundtable. He's
Tully Williams is on the cover.
Tully, my man. That's one of my favorites. One of a prior guest on the show. I love some
There he
Tully.
is.
That's
Beast
mode. One of the greatest out there, greatest people out there, and that's the thing. And that it's all about the hours. It's all about the hours.
Isn't Ron, speaking of November, December, the new issue I think you said is coming out. What are you seeing in that issue? I know that, obviously Tully's all about the hours. I was talking, I think when I did my cover, and I think the last article I did was about connectivity and some of the things that we're doing as a company that kind of tie into the industry. But what are you guys seeing? Obviously you've been through a bunch of articles. You're kind of seeing what's going on. What's the theme for November, December? What are you kind of looking towards?
Well, this is a sneak peek, right? Because no one knows. This actually gets released 1st of December, right? So you're getting kind of a headshot on it. First thing that we really look at when we go to the year-end magazine, right? So it's November, December. The one before this, we're like, you got 100 days left in the year. Get on it, okay? You set up some goals, 100 days to go, get them done. That's what we were talking about in the September, October issue. So now we get to December, and it's like, okay, you're rushing to the finish line. You're trying to get to your goals. Someone's probably holding you accountable for them. Let's make those numbers. Let's make things work. But more importantly, besides that, you got to take a breath and say, am I prepared for 2023? If I'm selling an OEM, if I filed with the OEM for my new rates, Ford had no trouble raising the price of the Mustang $5,000. Okay, did I raise my labor rate? Did I get my new posted door rate where it needs to be to cover my expenses so I can retain my technicians? Have I put in place all the products and things that I need to make 2023 a success?
Right.
And where am I with that? And so this is what you have to be doing today if you're in a fixed ops director or a service manager, and say, am I preparing myself for the next year? Because if I prepare myself in February, I got a late start on the gun. I need to be ready to go January 1 with what I want to make happen in 23. So that's one of the themes that you'll see throughout the magazine. It's like, hey, get it together, figure out what you got to do, but finish strong and get ready for 2023, because we got a heck of a year ahead. They're not going to produce too many cars. Okay. There's going to be a limited number of new cars, which means the average consumer is going to keep their car 1 or 2 more years, which means 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 more cycles into your service department. Are you ready for that? Are you going to capture those people? Or are they going to defect and go somewhere else to find a cheaper whatever, because they really don't know what it costs at your place? And so working through all those kind of things. And probably one of the big issues that comes up, the next cover looks like it's probably going to be David Boyle. I don't know if you can see this, but this is just.
Oh, what's up, Mr. Love him.
There he is.
Boyle, right? And we're talking about
an amazing guy.
Yeah, and we're talking about turning red tires to green, and the whole concept of people are coming in with tires that are red, right? Which we all know means, they're probably less than 330 seconds. Can you turn that into green? Can you turn that into cash? Or are all those people you're saying, hey, it's $1,350 for 4 new shoes, and they go, let you know about that, which means they're on their way to Costco, right? So you got to make sure you've done what you need to do to capture that customer. So, because once they defect from tires, they probably defect from oil changes. They start defecting from everything else, and you've lost them. They're now buying a car from the next ad they see, not from you.
Yeah, there's a crack in the armor, right? You've created a wedge, and now all of a sudden they're like, well, I could go somewhere else to get this service done. It was pretty easy to get tires somewhere else. Why not go get something else done? So,
yeah, once you let them out, you got a real problem getting them back in the corral for sure.
And usually you're letting them out without fully presenting them every option that they have to make it simple and easy right now. That they may not need to have the money for it right now, right? You might have a financing program that can make it work for them. Sure. They may be able to actually add the things that they're going to go chase up the street to get, right? And all of that. There's so many opportunity, but that's why there's awesome people to listen to, like all of y'all, right? All of us that can talk about, hey, this is how you do better at what you're doing, and see those opportunities and then talk about them. But what's awesome is that you're constantly pouring out the actual help for people, right? They can go into your magazine, they can get something that they can turn around and apply inside of their business, inside of their shop, inside of their action plan. And that's to keep that going for 19 years, y'all. 19 years. That's something to be said. That's incredible.
Well, one last point on the tire thing that's just interesting. My son is the chief financial officer for General Motors electric car division. So like the new Cadillac Lyriq, those vehicles. Mm-hmm. They spend tens of thousands of dollars figuring out what's the best tire for that car. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. And so now you, the consumer, are going to buy one of these cars that the factory has spent unknown how much money to make sure that the right tires are on that car, so it stops right, that it goes right, that it's quiet, that it works in hot weather, cold weather. And you are now going to go to Costco and you are going to choose a better tire for this car than the factory chose. Okay, you really aren't that smart. Okay, so you really do need to go back to the dealer and ask the dealer, hey, what tire did the factory decide was the best tire for this car? And let me put those tires back on it so it gets the optimal performance and it really works for me. So it's really that important. So I have that kind of inside information from my son, who's far smarter than I am, right? Who's working for General Motors, who can actually give me those insights of what it takes.
But that's powerful information. The average consumer doesn't know that, right? They assume that tires are all equal. You just find the one you like the most. But at the end of the day, like you said, the manufacturer spent a lot of money doing what they needed to do to make sure that the tires that are put on this vehicle are the best ones for you as a consumer. So, man, that goes so deep. That goes into when we sell the vehicle as sales pros, and then being in the service department, explaining that to people. Hey, listen, this is the reason why. And at the end of the day, it's going to save you money. And here's why. And here's how. Right. So Powerful. That's great information.
That's a closing tool, y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For those of you that are listening, selling tires, use that exact line. It's not bad to say. You know, that's the absolute fact. Wow. Strong stuff.
Well, the problem is lack of information.
Mhm.
You always resort to price, right?
Yeah.
So when they don't have the info, then all of a sudden they're looking at, well, what's the cheapest?
Yeah.
And to Ron's point, I'm assuming the cheapest isn't always the best one that's going to be the most efficient for the vehicle. Now, sometimes maybe, but most likely it's probably not. And so, you know, you have to get that information out there somewhere. Website, great place to start. You know, obviously that's what my company does, but there's other places you should do it. You should have a tire display in your dealership. And, you know, that's something that I still go into dealerships today and I look around, I'm like, these guys aren't serious about tires. I mean, it's not that hard to put a display up. Now, granted, I mean, you have to have a process and you got to make sure that you've got some things happening. But the idea is that put it out there, let people know it. You know, put a brochure out there while they're sitting there, have it available on your website. All these different places that we're trying to get that information in front of consumers. You know, to go after that business, and that business can be very lucrative, not only from a tire standpoint, but also from, again, to Ron's point, future business.
Wow, that's huge. It's gigantic. And, you know, but I also want to encourage all you dealers out there and obviously you service managers and anyone who's in charge of anything to do with fixed ops, especially right now, to educate your people and have them practice talking about these things. These are value propositions that we need to learn more on, you know, and if we can understand these and be able to explain these to consumers, we'll educate them more. They'll be more likely to spend more money with you, and they'll feel like they're dealing with a professional. So really do your jobs and get educated. It's our job. And I'm telling you, magazines like Fixed Ops Magazine, you can read those and you can find ideas and places to actually get those types of training tools. Really, there's a lot of great information in there that you can use to be, you know, hey, this week we're going to talk about this because I know that in the magazine it says this is what's happening, so we need to get ahead of that, right? So, you know, that's what I love about what you're doing out there, Ron. Also, you know, 2023 is coming. Right. And I know it's coming fast, and there's going to be some different obstacles. You know, when it comes to the sales department, a lot of people are talking about the shortage on new cars. I know that's going to be a problem with service departments, where actually maybe an advantage because cars are going to be serviced more because people are going to own them longer. So that being said, you know, what do you see in fixed ops as being one of the biggest things that people need to start putting a grip on for 2023?
I think is adopting to the technologies that are really out there today. I think, you know, the big time guys, right? The Tully Williams. Hey, Tully, I know you're watching, so hello. Right. And also guys like Ed Roberts, and they're grabbing onto the technology and running with mobile service, with using AI to answer phone calls. They're doing all kinds of things that really just, you know, lead the industry and make sure that everything is getting touched. But, you know, the other 16,000 dealers out there probably aren't doing that quite yet. Right. And they need to get aboard, because otherwise, you know what, they're going to lose the business. They're going to lose the business to others. And it's really important that you adopt to the technologies and that you change yourself. The word adaptable on the screen, and there's no question, you've got to be adaptable today. You've got to find those new products, find those new technologies, and give them a try, and hold those vendors accountable.
Oof,
you know,
I love that.
If I use someone like Owen Moon, I'm going to say, Owen, this is what are you promising? Let's write it down and let's check on the delivery. Okay. We'll be back in 6 months. And by the way, this is what Owen does to me, right? Owen says, Ron, we're going to be part of your magazine, and there's a cost to do that. But by the way, Ron, there's got to be some return on my investment, right? There's an ROI in everything we do. And he holds us accountable to make sure that his, you know, the people are seeing his information, that his information is changing people, and they're seeing the value in using products like his.
Well, and consistency is the key, right? I mean, I think, you know, as marketing, I'm a little closer to Ron in concept because of what we do. You get a lot of businesses that aren't in the marketing business; they're in a products business or something like that, and they might not understand the importance of consistency. Because I know early in my career, when I was, you know, helping a lot of dealers on the variable side with print magazine and television and radio and things like that, you know, it was the same thing, right? Somebody would come and be like, hey, I want to run radio for 1 month. Well, you might as well just give me the money and I'll just shout it. I'll just come to a corner and start shouting at people, because yeah, it's out the window, right? Because people need that consistency across many months. to start to really understand your brand and what you're about. And so, you know, when we locked arms with Ron, you know, we were probably half the size that we are today. And I can say that without a doubt, there's no doubt that, you know, our consistency in the Fixed Ops magazine publication has helped really lift our brand up. And, you know, we're excited to continue that partnership into 2023.
That's wrong. And consistency is a core value of a solutionary, and all those that are out there that are trying to actually find out if what you're doing works. You have to give it time.
It's the only way, man.
I mean, right now I'm in this fun place in life where time is critical. I have a daughter, right? That's about to pop, right? She's working on building a baby, right? Got a grandbaby on the way. And the timing that has to happen in just letting the process do its thing. You don't want to rush a moment of it. You don't want to rush a second of it. You want to get every bit of time that's needed in application for growth so that you can have the prime or the best, healthiest version of what you're creating to pop out, right? And that's what we want inside of our business. If we're going to say we're going to try to do something as a solution, great, let's do it. And let's give it the time it takes to grow. If we put seeds in the ground and show up the next day and it doesn't bear fruit, we don't trash the plan, right? We got to keep doing what it takes to keep feeding that. And the thing is once you see what grows, that's what goes, right? That's how you pick what it is that actually goes onto the application. If it grows, it goes on, right? It's going to get printed because it's working. And again, we honor just the mastery that you have and even being able to create that for that amount of time. But at the same time, to make sure that it has value and fruit for people to utilize and bear and go sow seed with. Absolutely love it. I mean, I can get very metaphorical on it, but seriously, time is key. We got to let time do its thing, along with consistent application during that time. It can't be sit and wait, right? You got to eat. You got to eat. Feed that baby. You know what I mean? Make that work happen. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So with that said, what are other fun stuff that's cooking for this coming season? You're about to kick into the year. You're gonna finish strong, right? We got a lot to say about 2022, but a year, wow! And now it's about to be over. What are some of the things that you want to see carry over that were kind of birthed in 2022?
I think what's important for me to see is more people accepting what you're doing and all of us are doing as far as trying to really communicate to them. You know, a lot of times you pick up a magazine and go, oh, okay, the guy's just selling ads, you know, and he stuffs it full of stories, you know, just so the advertisers will, you know, buy their stuff. And the reality is we're not, okay? You know, by the way, I've been in business for 30 years and been very successful with an agency. I've had over 800 dealers selling my products for, you know, at times. So I've had all kinds of successes. So really what we're trying to do here is get communicated information that works and products that really make a difference. Okay. I mean, try doing what Owen does, but try doing it on your own. And go ahead. All right. Because you're going to fall on your butt. Okay. It's not going to happen. You need to hire people that really know what they're doing to get this done. And that's one aspect of service, right?
That's right. Very true.
So true.
There's so many other aspects of it. You're like, okay, so how do you collect payments from your customers? Are you still, you know, you got a little device you hook on your iPhone, and yeah, probably not the way to do it anymore. Okay. There's actually better ways than that to collect money. All right. So you got to find those companies that do those things and get them, you know, into your business so that people can say, oh, your car is repaired. Here's a text, and on the text it says, you want to pay your bill? Hit yes. Boom. Your credit card's probably saved in your phone. Off you go. Payments made. You know, everyone's happy. No one's standing at a window reading over, you know, a 6-page RO trying to decide if everything is there or not. You know, they've already paid the bill. Life's good. Let's move on.
Right.
And, you know,
Well, and I would say as a dealership, as vendors out there and as products out there they're looking for those solutions. There's so many of them, right? And there's so much stuff that's out there that's not good, you know, that's not well thought out, that, you know, might not even be their own product. They're, you know, reselling somebody else's product, that type of thing. So they have to look for a resource that they can trust. And so, you know, that's the one thing that I will say about like Fixed Ops Magazine. I like the fact that, Ron doesn't just take everybody. I mean, he's not going to just, I remember when we went through our interview process, it was pretty extensive. I mean, I had to kind of show him the product and then talk to him about what we're doing and the kind of the methodology behind it. And then how many dealers were we serving? Who were those dealers? I mean, are they a bunch of, onesie twosies across small markets? Or are they some of the bigger groups out there that have adopted, the technology? So, you have to lean on somebody eventually, I think, to get your information. And so, I always tell a lot of people, be careful, which shows you're going on. Be careful what what magazines you're writing for, what blogs you're writing for, because you want to, make sure that you're getting your information out there to the right audience. And I think that also goes hand in hand that the customers that are looking for the right products are going to turn to certain publications and media outlets to get that information. So, I think that's something that everybody, we look at that. I mean, we look at this all the time and say, hey, this is all, I mean, because you only have so much money out there to put towards marketing and promotion and things like that. So you've got to be very careful on what you're doing. Otherwise you'll put yourself into a negative, trying to be everywhere to everybody, and because everything has a cost these days, right? So,
amen.
Hey,
Amen to that. Well, we are so thankful that we've been brewing all these solutions, and I know that there's a lot that's cooking right now with everybody that's shooting all over the country, trying to cram in all of the events that are wrapping up for the year, and the holidays are getting ready to get going. What are you looking at as far as the climate during this particular holiday season, as far as people making that decision to fix it or get the other gift or adjust to the market, because this has been a weird year for the economy, and that always shows up inside of the service department in one way or another.
There's no question about it. It's one of these things that well-run service departments are growing. When I talk to the best of the best, they're year over year, they're up, they're growing. And they're expecting that to continue. Their biggest challenges, like everyone, is making sure they have the right culture in their store so that they're not losing people across the street because somebody offered them $1 more an hour, right? So they're keeping their best people, they're training their people, they're working hard to make sure that happens. But as far as the climate of the business goes, I see nothing but growth over the next few years. If you really think about it, right? There's what do we do? They're producing 12 million new cars a year. There's 120 million cars out there. Okay, so about 10% of them get flushed out, but they crush about 10 million cars a year. All right, so just round numbers here. So, but the reality is here, they're barely making enough cars to take care of the ones that are getting crushed. All right, so it's not like you've got to really make sure that you're taking care of your customers. And the manufacturers are coming out with brand new stuff all the time. And you've got to adapt to that new stuff, and you have to, not turn it down. We talked about Ed Roberts. I met him the other day for dinner, and he pulled up in his, F-150 Lightning, ready to go. I mean, he's driving an electric truck, and it's, why not? Let's find out what it's all about. Let's figure out how it works. When you're talking to customers, you got firsthand experience of what that's all about. And how that works. So
yeah, my fear on that is that we are obviously getting pushed by the manufacturers to get there quicker. And I think everyone agrees we're not gonna make those deadlines, right? No. I mean, it's just not gonna happen. So
no, I agree with you.
Unfortunately, I wish it was a part of the process, not being forced down people's throats, to the point where you might even lose your franchise if you're not willing to invest in EV as fast as they want you to. So, anytime the OEMs are getting involved on that level, it becomes a real friction point with the dealers.
Sure.
But you're right. I mean, I think EVs have a place. I mean, if you do a lot of commuting around town, you're not going on the road, you're not doing a lot of highway miles, EVs make a lot of sense. If you're a on the road salesperson that's got 6 or 7 states in your territory, first off, you don't want to be on the road as much, as the least amount you need to anyways. And if you got to stop and, charge your car every 3-4 hours or once a day, you got to charge it for a extensive period of time. All you're doing is making people's quality of life worse for what, so.
And I couldn't agree more on that, and I It's crazy. That infrastructure is still, we're light years behind on that. We're a huge country with so many different terrains all over the place. You're talking about states, not just California. We're talking about Kentucky. We're talking about Tennessee. You're talking about West Virginia. They're in the middle of the hills. You're going to have charging stations out there, so what's the real probability of all that? Well, I mean, could it happen? Yes, but there's a lot of work that needs to happen. There's a lot of money the government needs to spend on fixing the way our roads are, the way that charging stations are, the availability of it, the uniform of it all, because some cars take a certain charging while another one doesn't, and they're computers, and that's the other side. So the way that we're doing things, but, going back to the point of, the service department and, and having fixed ops done right, the increase that's happening is that we need to make sure that we do a good job, because what that does is it causes retention for all of the dealership, and having that communication and having your customers come to the dealership, not to like an outside source place, like just another garage, but coming to an actual OEM, coming to a franchise dealership. Even if you're non-franchise and you have a service department, you want your customers to come back to your service department, do everything with you. So we have to make sure that we market it. We online service marketing it. We're doing things like helping our people understand what the programs are, giving them the education and the word tracks to be able to speak to customers and be able to give them value propositions like we've been talking about. All that stuff's going to be very important. So it's no different than it was 20 years ago in that sense, right? We still have to be very good at being able to market ourselves, very good at getting the customers in there. But I think that we understand now that there's way more value in it today than it ever has been, because people are going to own cars longer than they ever have, period. So we need to really take advantage of this in our fixed ops, our service departments, and our parts departments, and all those departments, making sure we get a nice little handle on it. And if we do that, we can be very good at this, and we have to start right now. And I'm telling you, by reading Fixed Ops magazine.
I mean, a very, very important message that we want to get out there to everybody. It's always to be adaptable. It's
that's right.
To be seeking education.
There you go.
Always to be also careful of what it is that you are taking in. Are you taking in some of the naysayer talk? If you're turning wrenchers or running a dealership from any angle, right? Are you listening to what is hopeful and forward thinking? Or are you preparing yourself to try to dig your heels in and not move when technology is going to prove itself to take over no matter what? So we have to adapt to that. And that's always been the case, right? It only took so long for every single person inside of each household to carry a smart device. Seriously, right? It was once faddish, then it was standard, right? It became the way it is. The same thing is going on with the technology that has to be taken care of. If I fix flip phones, I got a real problem in this economy. You know what I mean? True story. So if what I need to do is get myself up to the standard to where I remain relevant to the market and what services my community, ultimately, I want to know, I don't care what level of mechanic you are, can you fix the problem I have with my transportation? Adapt, figure it out, brother. I'm paying you, get it done, right? That's how the consumer wants it handled. Do they want somebody that says, man, I don't even agree with this technology, this is dumb? No, man, I think I bought it from you guys. Fix it, please. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what we want to get across. But you car guys and car gals that are out there, do ask questions, and we appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much, Tully, for all your love. But Sean Taylor does ask, what does EV takeover do to the service centers? He's asking as a
I think he means do to
yeah, I do, right. What does it do to the actual service centers?
Well, I think for me, anyways, just from outside looking in a little bit, I think that you run parallel, right? You're going to still have your ICE vehicles, and then you're going to have your EV vehicles. You're going to have to invest in both. You might have them in different areas. I think that will be something that dealers. I mean, if I was a dealer right now, I'd be putting up buildings, right? Buying land, putting up buildings, repurposing some of my buildings. I would make sure that I am set up for service, because that's the future, even more than it is today. And I think that you almost have to separate them. You're gonna have to run them parallel for a while, maybe forever. I mean, who knows? But that's something, obviously there's gonna be a lot different focus on the EV side. You won't have the same services, but you're gonna have to. It's almost similar to when we first got some of the CRM technology and things like that. I know dealers were sort of running parallel with the old written logs, and then they were also running the CRMs until they were able to get very comfortable with CRMs. And then of course that replaced, your old handwritten logs, although I still see some of that once in a while.
Yes,
they're out there.
Especially the vets, right? They've been there more than
they can't help
they,
it. They do it that way, but it's very true. One thing I did hear about EV vehicles that I think will be a good value point for people, and you're going to get consistent businesses, tire rotations. I know that that's just labor cost, right? That's just hours. But I heard that they weigh more, right? And they put so much torque on the wheels that the tires go out quicker. So you have to rotate them more often, and then you're going to need to replace them more often. So that's kind of something that everybody needs to get better at, get more educated at. I believe that's what I'm about EV vehicles.
Ron, on the tire side, I know you just talked about tires. Was there talk about the EV with the tires a little more, or what were you hearing from some of the stuff you've been kind of putting together?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of service managers talking about who've had early experience with those or Tesla experience to say what's really going on in the world. Number one, alignment is critical, right? Because when you get into, our ice age cars, right? What do we every one of us probably said, oh, well, I know what our miles per gallon is, right? We know that this car gets 22 miles per gallon. I got this big SUV, it gets 12, whatever it was. When you get into electric vehicles, it's how many miles do you get per kilowatt hour, right? So it's a whole new metric or measurement of that. And you could be driving down the road, and if your tires are pigeon-toed, rather than going, 3 miles per kilowatt hour, you're getting 2 miles per kilowatt hour because the engines are working, the motors are working harder to push you down the road. All of a sudden, you're not getting 300 miles of range, you're getting 200 miles of range.
Wow.
And that's simply because your car's out of alignment, right? So you're saying, well, it's going to wear the tires out. Yeah, well, it's also causing a real headache because now I have to charge the car more often, which is causing me big problems.
Wow, that's great information.
Lots of conversation and information out there with what's going on with electric vehicles. So alignments are going to be critical on these things. Rotation is critical. Understanding how long the tires are expected. Some of the EVs are coming through with really high tread wear numbers. I mean, some Michelin tires that have 500 UTR numbers on them. Okay, really high. They'll last a good long time. But some are coming through with 200, 250 UTR numbers, which means they're going to last, a very short period of time. But they may be great for performance, but they're not going to last at all.
Right.
So you have to understand these things about tires to understand how it works and how you're meeting your customer's need by putting the correct tires on the car, making it work for everyone. So it's going to take education. It's not just something you can say, yeah, Michelin sells a good tire. Well, they do. However, it may not be good for you.
Is that the go-to line for every tire salesman? Well, Michelin sells a good tire.
Michelin. It's like, hey, it's a Honda, buddy. You could buy this, a good car. But you're making such great points, Ron, and I appreciate you sharing that.
I mean, so in this era of that much technology and that much information, how much because I can't say that I've seen much of this type of education while waiting on my car to get fixed. Right. I haven't seen a video of somebody pop up and say, let me explain to you why it's this important. Just like you just said, like you said earlier, the technology has taken all of these brilliant people to make sure that this is perfect. If you gave me something warm like that, just like you did when you set the appointment for me, is there much of that out there for the products and services for the dealerships? Have you seen much of that?
Not yet. Not yet. I think the consumer and everyone is slowly, again, it's still today, EVs are a small part of the marketplace, right? But it's a growing component. I mean, it's doubling. Okay, so it's not growing a little; it's doubling. But we're at 7-8%. Okay, of the market. Okay, so we're still at a small percentage of the market. Now, a year from now, we're going to be talking about 15% of the market, right? Now we're going to start getting a little, and that's 25% or 30% a year after that. And so we're going to gear up for this thing, and we're going to figure out what's happening. And there's no plan B, by the way. I've talked to the manufacturers. It's not like we're going to try this electric thing, and if it doesn't work, we're going back to pistons. Okay, not happening. Okay, that is not happening. Now, something else may pop up and supplant that. It could be a hydrogen, but hydrogens are going to be more or less a hydrogen battery car. So it's still going to be some form of electric, even if that happens. So This is the direction it's going. tires are going to be important. The whole concept of alignment and rotations. And by the way, the difference between an ICE car and an EV car, okay, the powertrain is different. Electric windows are electric windows, right?
That's
dash
right.
displays are dash displays.
You're telling the truth there.
You think of how many other reasons people bring their car in other than, there's a tick in the motor, the transmission doesn't shift right. Okay, people bring in cars for so many other reasons just than those. And you have to be prepared to take care of all of those, plus all the new things that come up with an electric vehicle. So yeah, you're gonna have to get smarter at your business.
It's just more pressure. It's more pressure inside the service center. I mean, so to Ron's point, the ones that are profitable today, that were profitable last year, they're gonna be profitable next year. They're gonna figure this out. Right. It's the dealers that won't go the extra mile to figure out what they're doing today to be profitable and to be better. Are they going to put the time into EVs? And that's it's like you got good operators and then maybe you got not so good operators. And it's always been that way, right? 22 years doing this. I can still tell you, it's always good war stories, right? They're always the stories inside over a bourbon or a dinner or something where you're telling stories about, an experience you had with an operator 20 years ago. And there's like, man, those guys are still out there today. But I think it's getting better. I think people are understanding more what they need to do. And then it's just a matter of just executing it. And to Ron's point, you've got to educate yourself, and then it's a lot of trial and error, right? I mean, it's going to be trial and error for a while until it really gets to become mainstream. So
true, and it will be mainstream. That is for sure.
Yeah. Ron, last thing here. Let's talk a little bit about the future. I mean, I know we've talked a little bit about EVs, but Fixed Ops Magazine. I've noticed you guys have been a lot more active on social media, getting some of the articles out there. I think that's always good. LinkedIn is a great place. You got a lot of great professionals on LinkedIn. Where are you going with the magazine? Is there anything that's out on the horizon, or, kind of what are you looking to do in 2023 and beyond?
A lot of exciting ideas that we're working on. A couple of things that you'll see probably maybe even in the January, February issue is simple things like a QR code at the beginning of the article. You can flash your phone on and have an interview with the author. So you can talk with the author, you actually have an opportunity to hear the author say, why did I write this article and what's it all about?
Wow.
And so now you'll have a way to talk to them and then interact by sending them a message and get a message back and actually find out things that, more about it. So more of making it more interactive, but it starts with the written word, because you got to slow down and read, right?
Yeah.
Many of us have this ADD problem, right? Where we can do something for like 10 seconds and then the phone rings or we jump somewhere else. Okay. We all have that. All right. So if you're successful, you probably got that gene. All right. So here's the thing. You've got to find something that can let you stop and start, which a printed word can have you do, but then also say, I need a little more information on this. Click on a QR code, more information will be presented for you. And then, find out, who is Owen? Who is this guy who wrote this article? What's his background? What's he all about?
Mm-hmm.
And it's that'll be kind of fun. So that's coming.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like that, Ron.
So
I'm actually just that's making my mind spin, and I absolutely think that's phenomenal. Imagine that with every book written in the world too. It'd be really cool to be able to learn more about why and what. And no, phenomenal. Thank you for sharing that. That's just a little nugget there. That's cool. And that's what I'm talking about, my friends. They're not just sitting on resting in their laurels. Oh, we're a publication. They're looking for ways to get better for us, right? So that we can be educated the way we want to be educated. He's right. A lot of us successful people, we are very ADD. We're like, hey man, we can, but when we're focused, we're great. But it just takes one butterfly to go by. Oh, butterfly, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. But it's good to be able to read a magazine, be able to get that, have your little moments of being able to pick and choose how you want to take it in. So that's great. That is really great.
I mean, connecting to the author like that. What other magazine? I haven't seen a magazine where I can do that and I can connect to the author. Guys, that's ridiculously innovative. Wow, that's. Whew. Okay. Like it. Wait, that's an auto, right? That right.
Mind blown.
Automotive, yes, very mind blown. For automotive, that is something that I would have to say, wow, way to lead the way, way to charge that horse forward, Ron, because so many times we're stuck behind. But now I'm going to go check out some magazines and be like, can you connect to the author?
Well, and what it does is it creates the credibility, right? Because again, anybody can go out and talk about something today, and there has to be something behind it that says okay, that's actually legitimate, or that's right.
Oh,
And
heck yeah.
this is one way to actually close that gap a little bit, right? You can talk about the author, you can talk about, the answer questions. Hey, I was reading this part of it, I didn't quite understand that, but can you expand on that a little bit more? That type of thing. Wow, that's that'll be interesting. I can't wait to see that come to fruition. Ron.
Me too. That's going to be amazing. I cannot wait to read that. That's going to be great.
And remember, our magazine is real expensive, right? It takes exactly 2 minutes to sign up for our magazine. It costs you exactly no money to sign up. Okay, so you have to invest 2 minutes of your life. Go to fixedopsmag.com, right? You go in, you put in your information, and boom, there you go. You're there.
There you go.
And it's really that simple. You sign up, we send you the digital version. You want the print version? Great, give me an address. We'll send you a print version. And you'll become one of the 38,000 people that get the magazine. And if you're in this business and you're not getting this magazine, if we're not watching your show, then you're just missing on what content it takes to be successful today in this business. So
I remember when I was fortunate enough to be on the cover a little over a year ago. I was getting text messages from clients and stuff just with the screen out. Hey, I just got this in the mail today. I made a joke about it that my mailman showed up to my house and he was like, had it there. And he looks at me and he looks at it and he goes, like, what's going on here? And I'm like, yeah, give me that thing, And so it's pretty funny.
That is awesome, though.
I hope you gave him a signed copy back.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that was what he was looking for.
Heck yeah, man! But that's incredible, and that's awesome, and it's free. Car guys, car gals. Once again, Ron is pouring it out for free, right? For those of you that actually want to get better, that want to learn, that want to keep growing inside of your business, inside of your profession, inside of your craft, get you some of that Fixed Ops magazine. Come on now.
There's another alumni of the show, April Simmons, down there saying, "You're famous." That's right. Gotta love some April Simmons. She's amazing. We've had some phenomenal guests, and you just put the icing on the cake, my friend Ron. We appreciate you for coming in here today, sharing everything that you did, talking and forecasting, and then sharing a little nugget about what's happening with Fixed Ops Magazine here soon. Folks, 2 minutes, free magazine. If you're a business out there and you're in Fixed Ops and you bring value, reach out to Ron. You may have the perfect thing and it might be the perfect match. I could tell you Owen has had great success working with them and being able to get his name out there and his business out there with more validation, because that's what it really is, man. It brings validation to you. And if you are a real company that has some real stuff going on, reach out to Ron. I promise you won't regret it. At least you guys can mastermind together, because I guarantee through his experience with all the consulting that he's done over the years too, man, he can probably help you grow. So
yeah, Ron might not be in the trenches every day anymore, but man, I bet you that guy, you know more about what's going on than a lot of some of the guys are in the stores because of what you're involved in with all the different companies we're working with, and just to be inside that brain once in a while would be interesting. So
you get a great view from here. You really do.
I can imagine.
See what everybody's doing and what everybody's thinking. It's a lot of fun. It really is. So,
well, it's been a great honor for all of us and for all of you that have tuned in. For those of you that are watching it on the replay, make sure that you share some love with Ron. Blow him up. Let him know if you got some value out of this. And if you just appreciate his contribution to this incredible industry we are all a part of, and doing our very best to pour out our best brew. But there is a high level of sifting to pick the beans that go into this show, right? And that get connected with Fixed Ops Digital, and that get to be part of Fixed Ops Friday. And we want to make sure that he gets the love that he's been pouring out back. So reach out to him, let him know that you appreciate it. But seriously, we appreciate it. Ron, we're so thankful. We feel like we should have paid for this session with you.
He's like, "Oh, I've already sent the invoice." It's I'm just saying. But
that was incredible.
Great show, but we always close every show off with our three favorite F words. We do. We drop F words, F bombs. We do it all, but it's forgive, focus, and fly, because we want to make sure that everyone understands you got to forgive everything you've done in the past. All you Fixed Ops departments ain't done what you're supposed to do. It's okay. You got today. Start right now. It's the best time to start. So get out there, forgive it, let it go, focus on what you want, and fly everywhere you've ever want to go, and keep growing. Ron, thank you, brother. Owen, you got anything to say before we get out of here?
No, I've been looking forward to this one for a while. So Ron, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you. Obviously, keep doing what you're doing. I think you're doing amazing work in your space with the publication, and I'm looking forward to 2023 and what you're going to be rolling out. So with that, enjoy your holidays, sir. Yeah, we got a couple good holidays coming up. So I know you got a lot of family and things like that. So just take it all in and really enjoy the season.
We'll do it for sure. Thank you, guys. Appreciate this time.
Well, Ron, is there anything that you have to say out there? Any last words you have for the community and for those that honor and appreciate you?
Well, first, thank you to all of you. Especially you, Fred and Lou. You've done an amazing job of getting people to really listen to what's going on in this business today. And Owen, wow, we've had a great time. He's always got thoughts, right? He is one of those ADD children. Okay, he's constantly, hey, Ron, what about this? What about this? Could we try this? And you're like,
yeah, that's the genius in them, though.
The collaboration is awesome.
Put down the beans. Okay, you've been drinking a lot of that stuff. All right, put down the coffee.
I am a coffee addict, that is for sure.
So it's fun. It really has been great. But I get great ideas, and it's fun to share ideas that have been successful for others with those that maybe just didn't take the time to really, put it together and say, do I really want to try this? I've been doing it this way for so long. And it's like, yeah. And you know what? But it's time to change. It's time to get better at what you do.
That's right.
And, let's start today. And
you got to evolve.
Hey,
yeah.
Facts.
It's going to happen. So be part of it, be excited about it, and be caffeinated. Yes, we got a bunch of cranked up car guys that collide with great car guys in fixed ops and those that are making sure that we keep this industry going to the next level. Cheers to each and every one of you.
Cheers
we
to y'all.
appreciate you all.
Guys, cheers.
Great show today. Let's forgive, focus, fly, and go off and enjoy our weekends, my friends.
Here
we go.
Excited to
So
forgive.
hands
Just
on you.
follow on, Ron. We got this.
Just like this, we're gonna wipe it off. We're gonna focus, and we're gonna fly out of here. All right, on the count of
There we
three.
go.
1, 2, 3. Forgive.
Focus.
Fly. And keep growing. Yeah, let's go. Thank you so much. All you Fixed Ops folks out there, crush the world. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys soon. Don't forget, we have the flashback coming next week. Stay tuned. We're gonna have some great stuff going on. Let's go. Peace.
Watch out, everybody.
Hi, guys.
So much
Take care.
The only Owen Moon helping us host.
That's right.
The incredible car guy that knows a thing or two and knows how to publish it too. And we are excited to be brewing with the one,
the only Ron
Overs.
Let's go, everybody. Thank you so much. Peace out. Fixed Ops Friday. We out.